Saturday afternoon, 1984. You've got 50 pence burning a hole in your pocket, straight to the corner shop, eyes scanning the shelves like a sugar-powered radar system. Life doesn't get better than this. 10 British snacks that peaked in the 1980s will absolutely transport you back to when corner shops felt like Aladdin's cave and 10 pence could buy actual happiness. We're talking about the decade when snacking became an art form, marketing jingles ruled your brain, and every sweet had a story that mattered. Space dust, the exploding revolution. Let's kick off with pure childhood madness. Space dust. But you're not going to believe what this stuff actually did to your mouth. Tiny crystals that literally exploded on your tongue. Population crackle. Fizz, like setting off fireworks inside your head. You'd pour it straight from the packet, feel those miniature explosions dancing across your taste buds, half convinced your mouth might actually detonate. Think about that for a second. When did sweets last feel genuinely dangerous? The rumour was it got banned because kids' stomachs were exploding. Complete nonsense. But in the 80s, we believed dangerous sweets were the best sweets. Ask yourself this. Would you give space dust to a kid today? Or would you be terrified of the health and safety implications? But here's what you didn't know about 80s snacking. Marathon bars were setting the standard for what chocolate should achieve. Marathon bars. Before corporate betrayal. Summer of 1987. You're unwrapping what's about to become the most controversial name change in British snacking history. Marathon bars, not Snickers. Never Snickers. 8 inches of braided caramel covered in milk chocolate. The wrapper had ruler markings to prove how massive it was. Because size mattered in the 80s, these weren't candy bars, they were endurance tests. You'd share them because finishing alone was basically impossible. It really satisfies wasn't just a slogan. It was a promise that one bar could fuel you through an entire afternoon of chaos. In 1990, they became Snickers. Marathon bars were epic quests. Snickers are just normal. Speaking of jaw-destroying challenges, Texan bars, the jaw workout champions. Sure is a mighty chew. Remember that cowboy? Texan bars weren't confectionery. They were dental challenges wrapped in chocolate. Chewy nougat and toffee that could dislocate your jaw if you weren't careful. The TV ads showed cowboys escaping from bandits because the bar took so long to chew. Brilliant marketing for a product that was basically edible concrete. People complained it was too hard to eat. Can you imagine complaining that your chocolate bar was too challenging today? Your face would ache after 10 minutes of chewing. Your jaw muscles would be genuinely tired. And somehow this made you want more. Think about that feeling. When did food last require actual physical effort? While Texan was conquering your jaw, another chocolate was conquering your brain. Trio, the demanding chocolate dictator, the most aggressive advertising campaign in chocolate history. Trio, trio, I want a trio, and I want one now. That animated girl, Susie, wasn't asking politely. She was demanding, screaming at you through the television until you surrendered your pocket money. Biscuit base, toffee cream centre, milk chocolate coating. 3 simple ingredients that became an obsession. DJ John Peel's voice explaining that no 3 things are quite as good together. His credibility made it feel important, not just advertising, cultural commentary. You'd find yourself humming that jingle without realising. In the playground, during maths lessons, while trying to sleep. Ask yourself this. When did advertising last burrow that deep into your consciousness? The campaign was so successful, it scared other chocolate companies. One advert shouldn't have that much power over human behaviour. Meanwhile, in Cadbury's laboratory, scientists were creating chocolate magic. Wispa, the A-rated miracle. 1981. Cadbury's laboratory creates something that changes chocolate forever. Wispa didn't just taste different, it felt different. Hundreds of tiny air bubbles creating texture you'd never experienced. You could feel it dissolving, melting in slow motion across your tongue, the bubbles popping individually like microscopic fireworks. Hold it wrong and it would crumble to dust. Hold it right and you got chocolate architecture that defied physics. This wasn't just a bar, it was food science made delicious. Think about that innovation. When did chocolate last surprise you that completely? Of course, not every sweet needed cutting-edge technology to blow your mind. 6. Spangles, the vanished rainbow. Spangles, the vanished rainbow. Square boiled sweets that came in colours that shouldn't exist in nature. Orange, lime, black currant. Each one a tiny stained glass window you could eat. Mars created something special with Spangles. Proper fruit flavours that actually tasted like fruit. Revolutionary concept for the early 80s. You'd work through them systematically. Save your favourite flavour for last. The lime ones were always controversial. You either loved them or traded them away immediately. They'd last forever in your mouth, slowly dissolving while you tried to guess the exact moment they'd disappear completely. Gone in 1984. Just vanished from the shelves like they'd never existed. Ask yourself this: when did losing a sweet last feel like genuine betrayal? 40 years later, people still mention Spangles in online forums, still wondering why Mars killed something that perfect. Another vanished paradise came wrapped in blue. Cabana. The lost tropical dream. Blue wrapper, tropical promise. The first bite transported you somewhere warmer. Coconut, caramel, and cherry pieces wrapped in milk chocolate. Each piece a tiny vacation you could afford. You'd eat them slowly, hunting for the cherry pieces like buried treasure. The coconut, providing texture that made every bite different. Sweet, chewy, completely exotic. Cabana bars felt like holidays you couldn't afford. Palm trees and beaches, condensed into chocolate form. Gone by the early 90s, over 1,000 people have signed petitions demanding their return. Still waiting. Think about that loss. When did a chocolate bar last make you feel like you were somewhere else entirely? But not every 80s snack disappeared. Some just lost their soul. Findus, crispy pancakes, molten lava mysteries. Saturday tea time. Mum appears with the holy grail of convenience food. Findus crispy pancakes. Ham and cheese, chicken and mushroom. They all somehow tasted exactly the same, and we loved every dangerous bite. You'd bite too early and scald your tongue. Every single time, the filling was molten lava, the outside barely warm. Did you ever learn? Did anyone ever learn? The answer was always no. Comfort food that contained zero actual comfort and maximum potential for mouth burns. The 80s formula was different. Proper ingredients, real flavours that you could actually distinguish. Ask yourself this: when did convenience food last feel that satisfying? However, when you wanted real sophistication, there was only one choice. Viennetta, the height of dinner party class. Those delicate chocolate layers that shattered when you breathed on them. Mum would appear with the Viennetta, and suddenly your boring Sunday roast felt like Christmas morning. This wasn't just dessert, it was theatre. Performance art you could eat, the sound when she cut into it. That satisfying crack as the chocolate gave way, layers of vanilla ice cream cascading like frozen waterfalls. When did food last come with its own sound effects? Dinner parties across Britain were defined by that moment. The Viennetta reveal, peak 80s sophistication in ice cream form. But here's what really made 80s snacking magical. Woolworths. Pick and mix, childhood democracy, Saturday morning pilgrimage. The pick and mix. Counter calling your name like a sugar-powered siren song. Cola bottles versus flying saucers. Space dust versus refresher chews. Black jacks versus fruit salads. Here's what you did. Don't even try to deny it. You tested a few pieces first. Quality control, making sure they met your standards. The shop assistants pretended not to notice because they understood. Sacred territory. You'd build your perfect selection, balancing flavours like a confectionery architect. Sweet versus sour. Chewy versus hard. Every choice mattered. Think about that power. When did 50 pence last buy you that much control over your own happiness? Which 80s snack hits you hardest? Your first space dust explosion that convinced you your mouth was actually fizzing. The trio jingle that still plays in your head during quiet moments. That perfect pick and mix selection that took 45 minutes to create. Drop your snacking memories in the comments. I read every single one and they always transport me back to corner shops that felt like Aladdin's cave. And if this trip back to when British snacking peaked made you hungry for more than just nostalgia, smash that subscribe button. Because there's so much more about the decade that shaped our taste buds that deserves remembering. So many more Saturday afternoons when 50 pence felt like unlimited wealth. What other slice of 80s Britain should we explore next? What other memories from when everything tasted perfect should we rescue before they disappear forever?